Hello everyone and welcome to Types of Triangles. So please make sure you have page 7 out in your packet and we're going to copy down these examples. So the type of a triangle, the first one is acute, and it's a triangle with all angles that are less than 90 degrees. So I'm just going to draw a regular triangle. Most triangles that we typically draw are acute. The next one is a right triangle. So we typically have a right angle in the bottom left corner. We're going to put that little square. That means it's a right triangle. So with at most one 90-degree angle. The reason this says at most is because you can't have more than one 90-degree angle. There's not enough degrees to be split up. The next one, obtuse. An obtuse triangle is typically drawn something like this, where this angle here is obtuse, meaning that it's more than 90 degrees and less than 180. The next one, equilateral, a triangle with all congruent sides, known as equiangular. This is the one that we typically see these tick marks on the edges or the sides of the triangle to denote that they're all congruent. Isosceles. Please make sure you draw it very isosceles-like. So for example, what I mean is it's very tall and it might have a kind of a small narrow bottom. So isosceles, meaning that two sides are congruent. These are the base angles, and the one up top is called the vertex angle. And then the last one, scalene. So scalene is typically when we have no congruent sides. So I might draw a triangle that looks like this. This would have one tick mark, this would have two tick marks, and this may potentially have three tick marks. It's scalene because all the sides are different. Now we're going to move on to page 8 in the packet. So in page 8 it talks about question number 1. Triangle ABC. So everybody draw a triangle ABC. It says AB is 8, BC is 11, and AC is 13. So we are using the choices listed up top, acute, obtuse, right, equilateral, isosceles, or scalene, to figure out what kind of triangle this is. And I know for sure that it's a scalene triangle because all the sides are different lengths. I do not know enough about the angles to decide what kind of angular triangle it is, so I'm just going to leave it as scalene. Question number 2. We have triangle ABC. It says that angle A is 50 degrees and angle B is 60 degrees. Now before you go any further, we need to figure out the measure of the last angle in the triangle. So 50 plus 60 equals 110. 180 minus 110 leaves 70 degrees for the last angle. If the last angle in this case is 70 degrees, I know that it is an acute triangle, and I also know that it is scalene because all of the side lengths are different. I want you to go ahead and finish this page, page number 8, questions 3 through 10 on your own, please. And now we're going to look at the last page that I need you to fill in. So turn to page 11 in your packet. And page 11 in the packet, the first thing it says, the sum of all the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. Very important that we realize. Vertical angles are congruent. So for example, this angle here and this angle here, let's say this was 50 degrees. I know for sure that this is 50 degrees as well. Linear pairs are supplementary. So if I had this as 50 degrees, I know that that would be 130 degrees. Perpendicular means it makes right angles. And if I had two angles that were perpendicular, this would be 30 and this would be 60. So it adds up to 90 degrees in total. And then the last thing that's on here are some super duper triangle problems. So it says in the figure DE is perpendicular to BC. DE is perpendicular to BC. So we're going to draw a right angle in here. ADB is 70 degrees. And EDC is 50 degrees. And then it says find the measure of angle X. Now, we happen to know that in this blue triangle right here, The sum of the degrees of the triangle is 180, so this must be 40. 90 plus 50 equals 140. 180 minus 140 is equal to 40. Now, in the big triangle, we are trying to find the angle measures. I do know for a fact that these three angles add up to 180. So this angle right here must be 60 degrees. The reason that that's 60 degrees is 70 plus 50 equals 120. 180 minus 120 equals 60. And then the last angle to find is angle X. And that's this one up here. If you look at this other triangle now, this triangle up here, we have 180 degrees. And I'll highlight that in a different color for you. This triangle here, it has to be 180 degrees. So we've eaten up 90 with the right angle, 60 with the angle on the bottom. That adds to 150. So 180 minus 150 gives us 30 degrees. And this angle right here, which is X, is equal to 30 degrees. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.